This is the exact moment a $47 billion startup evaporated and took one man's career down with it. He was the head of product strategy at WeWork, right at the epicenter of a global rocket ship that promised to change the world. Then, almost overnight, the headlines turned brutal. 25 billion, 15, 10. The valuation crashed, and the dream completely imploded. He was left with nothing but a front row seat to a historic failure. So how did he flip that disaster into the blueprint for a quiet, resilient, and wildly profitable $10 million empire? He didn't just rebuild. He rewrote the rules of the game. This is the story of how Greg Isenberg rejected the Silicon Valley playbook that almost broke him and created a new one from scratch. To really get how Greg Isenberg built his $10 million empire, you have to understand the hell he walked through. He wasn't just some employee at WeWork. He'd sold his own startup, Islands, to the company, and was its head of product strategy. He had a prime vantage point for the defining mantra of that time: growth at all costs. WeWork wasn't just a business, it was a movement, a near cult-like belief that you could fake it till you make it on a global scale. The company was losing almost $2 billion a year, while its valuation was pegged at an astronomical $47 billion. It was a house of cards fueled by venture capital and pure hype. The strategy was simple: grow, 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 and figure out the profits later. Investors poured in cash, thinking they were backing the next world-changing unicorn. But the model was broken from the start. There was no real competitive advantage, just slick marketing and a promise of community that wasn't supported by a sustainable business. For Greg, this was a massive crisis. He'd spent his whole life building things, starting as a kid in Montreal obsessed with niche online forums. He'd built and sold companies before, living the founder's dream. But WeWork was on another level. Watching it collapse from the inside was a masterclass in what not to do. He saw firsthand how chasing insane valuations and depending on endless VC money could lead straight to ruin. When the IPO was canceled and the mass layoffs began, he wasn't just watching a company die. He was watching an entire business philosophy burn to the ground. That's when he promised himself the next thing he built wouldn't be another unprofitable venture-backed gamble. It would be a profit machine from day one. Next, community. This is where most people stop. But for Greg, it was just a warm-up. He knew an audience is a group of spectators, but a community shares an identity. He created private spaces like Discord servers to bring his audience together. He launched a Twitter account called You Probably Need a Robot, just to share AI tips. It blew up, and he started a Discord where 20,000 people joined to talk about AI. In these spaces, he wasn't selling, he was listening. He created rituals that kept people engaged, all while learning their biggest frustrations and goals. Finally, product. Only after building trust and getting to know the community inside and out did he even think about creating a product. The community practically told him what to build. For his AI community, the demand was clear. People needed help putting AI and automation into practice. So he launched an agency to do just that. He ran the same play with another account, Boring Marketer, which focused on AI-powered SEO. Build an audience, foster a community, and then launch the service they're already asking for. This completely removes the risk of building something nobody wants. The product is just a natural extension of the community. According to his public statements, one of these ventures did 7 figures in revenue with $450,000 in profit in its first year. This community-first approach is a total game changer, but it's how he scaled it that's pure genius. If you want more stories about founders who are building real, profitable businesses without the hype, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We break down strategies you can actually use every single week, and you won't want to miss what's coming up. With the ACP model perfected, Greg didn't just build one business, he built a whole portfolio. This is the tipping point where he went from a founder to an empire builder. He calls himself a multipreneur, someone who builds multiple companies at the same time. He set up a holding company called Late Checkout to be the hub for all his projects. His strategy is incredibly efficient. He gives one new business his intense focus for about 12 months, using the ACP model to make it profitable. Once it's stable and making money, he hires a dedicated operator, often someone from inside the community, to run the day-to-day. That frees him up to go back to square one and launch the next thing. This multipreneur model is incredibly resilient. If one company has a slow quarter, the others keep the portfolio afloat, creating a safety net that a single startup never could. It's the perfect antidote to the all-or-nothing risk he lived through at WeWork. He now runs a portfolio of 6+ companies, including an innovation agency, a marketing company, and several community-first projects. This isn't about scattered, frantic energy. It's a calculated system. By using AI, no-code tools, and a global team, he can launch and scale these businesses from anywhere, all while staying creatively and financially independent. He's not trying to find one massive unicorn. He's building a stable of strong, profitable horses. And it's working. Today, his portfolio of bootstrap businesses reportedly generates over $10 million a year. When you look at Greg Isenberg's story, the $10 million number is the headline, but it's not the real story. The real story is the reinvention. He started in the wreckage of a $47 billion cautionary tale, and instead of trying to rebuild the same broken machine, he designed something completely new. He built an empire not on hype, but on human connection. His success proves you don't need venture capital, you don't need to be in Silicon Valley, and you don't need to choose between growth and profit. The biggest takeaway from his journey is that his most spectacular failure was actually his greatest asset. The collapse of WeWork taught him everything he needed to know about what not to do, giving him the clarity to build something better, more resilient, and ultimately more meaningful. He turned that failure into his personal blueprint. His approach flips the entrepreneurial script on its head. It starts with giving, not taking. It prioritizes community over customers, and it builds a foundation of trust before ever asking for a single dollar. In a world obsessed with overnight unicorns, Greg's story is a powerful reminder that real, sustainable success comes from learning from your losses and building businesses that genuinely serve people. And that is a blueprint worth following. What did you think of Greg's ACP model? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more breakdowns of genius business strategies, click the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching.